Hello, and welcome to another edition of Chicago by Night. Today we have your OOC. Sorry, your character's name is Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, never met your character before. My bad. Ghost is meeting up with who she thinks to be is Kara, but because he is now unavailable, she will arrive at the casino, let in, and led to the office, which is now occupied by Cecilia.
Um, yeah, Ghost appears. Originally, when she first came outside, she was wearing a motorcycle helmet, full faced. But she takes it off when she gets into the casino. She's dressed in biker leathers and black gloves. When she comes into the office, she's not a big woman. She's probably only about 5'6", 5'7" at most, maybe with the boots. And she's not particularly overpowering looking, but there's a sort of air of threat about her. Something. She's a dangerous person. Let's just say that. You can surmise that from just looking at her. Maybe it's the 1,000-yard stare in her eyes.
Okay. Cecilia would have let her into the office. She's a taller woman, especially in heels. She's wearing a nice white suit, but her height's kind of taken away by the fact that she's leaning heavily on a cane. She's about 5'8", 5'9" ish, with the heels on. She'll just smile very politely and say, "Ah, I do not believe we have met. I'm Dr. Cecilia Giovanni."
Ghost looks a bit confused, like there's a momentary sort of moment of confusion before she gives her a kind of little bow. And she says, "I'm Ghost, Archon of Clan Bruges."
The Archon. Interesting. And no need to bow. Please, have a seat.
She sits down. Will Mr. Dimitri be joining us?
And she'll walk around to the desk and sit down and say, "Unfortunately, no. I have taken over his affairs in the city. He is passed."
She raises one of her eyebrows. Passed?
Indeed.
You mean passed on the opportunity to run this city, or passed as in...
He's dead.
She sort of, her head flinches back in that kind of, what the fuck kind of way.
My apologies.
Well, that's unfortunate. My condolences.
Thank you.
Can I ask how?
I was told several different things. I'm still trying to get the complete story, apparently.
Ghost looks pensive. There seems to be a lot of that going around recently. People turning up missing or dead.
Indeed. Oh well, perhaps that problem will soon be figured out.
Well, your predecessor and I had a friendly arrangement. I'm hoping that we can continue it. I know I'm aware you don't know me, but I I shouldn't let that stand in the way of our amicable agreement so far.
Hmm. Now, I will say that I am not Kara, and I will hold the right to cancel or change any agreements that he had made. That being said, I would like to hear what friendly arrangement you two had so that I may see if it is something I find to be worth continuing.
Well, your predecessor had interest in the some of the underworld and less. You can tell Ghost Quine trying quite hard to speak politely. Like this is more of an act than her general demeanor.
Miss Ghost, if you don't have to speak the way that you are, you can speak freely or however way you want. And I am very aware of the underground trade. I do not mind gruesome speech.
Well, we were working together on drugs and guns.
Perfect. In exchange for these guns and drugs, what was he offering you?
Well, we have some of the same interests, and we have some families that are connected. So we were just unifying our efforts, and in return, I promised him peace from the Camarilla, and that I would make sure there was no interference in the areas that you have laid claim to as domain.
A soft smile will build up on her face and she'll say, Hmm, that sounds like a pleasant agreement.
Now, being so that someone has someone or someone's has made some disruption in one of your domains by killing him, then in honor of my agreement, if you should need my help, then I'm your gal.
Thank you for this offer. And the same if anything seems to pop up that you believe I can help with. In honor of this agreement, I would be willing.
I'm pretty sure the Giovanni can handle themselves, but it's never a bad term to have a friend to help you out, and I'm a woman of my word, 100%.
It's hard to find people like that nowadays. I am grateful to have been able to meet you and learn this fact.
Now I know that your family has a peace agreement, well, more of a non-interference agreement with the Sabbat. So, as that stands, that's our only problem at the moment, really. But hopefully they won't be bothering you, and we'll have them politely escorted out of the city as soon as possible. It's about bad for everyone's business. They're already bringing the feds and the police down on the city with their careless and reckless behavior.
Indeed, I believe Kara was having to cover some of that up for them in some agreement that I was unable to understand. But having them removed from the city would be quite beneficial for everyone, don't you agree?
Well, I can't claim to know much about the Giovanni. I mean, I'm for most of my life I've just kept my head down and done what I was told. But I know that you guys don't like people interfering in your work and interfering with your own lives and interfering with your business. So whatever this about might have told you, they're going to interfere. They just do what they want to do. I can't tell you to break any agreements. That's not my place. But just want to warn you that they don't care about any sort of promises they've given to anyone but themselves. And they won't keep out of your places. If they want something, they'll take it. Or they'll try and take it by force. This guy calls himself Bonehead. He is running all sorts of havoc all around the streets and gang areas, going in places, shooting at people, causing masquerade breaches, spraying blood on the walls. So I don't know how long we can keep the feds at bay, to be honest, if stuff like that keeps happening.
Then why not simply kill him? That would get rid of all your problems. Or are you unable?
I'm perfectly able to kill him. It's just getting him in a position to be vulnerable. I mean, I know about where his drug deals happen, but he takes a lot of at least 20 or 30 guys with him, and it's a masquerade breach. If I was going to kill him, it would be well, I'm not exactly the subtle kind. Just need to work out a way to get him singled out.
Indeed. Well, you say you happen to know where these drug deals happen, if I might just say. If they are in a building, simply close off all the exits and burn it down with them inside. Sure, it is a masquerade breach, or it could be, but in the end, is one more breach better than who knows how many he will create later on.
She nods.
And after all, the city's already had one fire. What's another one going to do?
The laugh sort of catches a Ghost off guard a little bit, and she kind of she smiles, but it's kind of a slightly inhuman, toothy grin more than like a genuine laugh. And she gives a sort of shrug of her shoulder. Oh, you're a doctor?
I am. Pathology.
What's that?
It's the study of diseases on the human body. Most coroners and people who work in the morgues are pathologists.
Oh, cool. Um, that's interesting.
What exactly is it that you do, Miss Ghost?
Me. Well, I clean up messes other people make.
Interesting.
My job here is to try and resecure the city. I understand from my documents that Giovanni and the camera had a very good working relationship in the past, when there actually was a ruling body here, Primogen Council. Now it's just skeletons. The city's been in a war for a long time.
What makes the Camarilla want to fight and take the city so badly? If you've already suffered so many casualties and had the war going on for so long, why not just abandon the city?
Ghost sort of gets quite a serious look on her face. Because the masquerade, the essence of the protection of our society, especially along the East Coast, is paramount. If we allow the Sabbat to swarm, it won't be safe for anybody, not just the Camarilla, any independents. You know, I'm sure I don't have to give you a lesson on the Sabbat. You're a smart lady. They just do what they want to do. They don't give a shit about rules of society or the masquerade or who they hurt. It brings hunters too. I don't know if you've ever noticed a high population of Sabbat. You get hunters coming in, and they don't know the difference between Camarilla, independent, or what. They just kill.
Indeed, but it still doesn't entirely answer my question. You, the Camarilla, they could leave peacefully and find themselves a new place to settle down. I'm sure another city taken over by the Sabbat would not be too big of a deal, considering you guys take over their cities. I'm assuming quite regularly. So, why? Unless you honestly do care for the humans here and the independents and want to stay here for their protection, and thus they keep causing you more and more casualties, and you have to extend your influence to cover up everything the Sabbat does. Really, what do you gain in return?
The East Coast has been a stronghold of Camarilla power, and it's not something that we're eager to turn over. I mean, I'm not high up. I mean, I'm given this job because I've survived a lot of Sabbat wars and I can throw punches. But personally, for me, the reason that I do what I do is because I believe in the traditions and upholding the honor of the tower.
Hmm.
You're asking you're asking a soldier why the cogs work. It works. Cameras in the city. I mean, it's not exactly going to be roses all the time. I mean, you get your assholes in the camera as much as you get them in the Sabbat or any other faction. But at least you get some semblance of peace, some semblance of order.
Hmm. You mentioned order and all of that, but what sort of order is there here, especially with the Sabbat continuing this war? And then you also mentioned that you were a soldier, and I was asking you how the cogs work. I was asking, as a soldier, you understand casualties, and this war has no doubt claimed thousands, or perhaps less, probably less. Why would you keep sending soldiers to die in this seemingly endless war?
It's not a case. I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes, Doctor. It's not a case of good versus evil. We're all monsters. Maybe it's just about holding on to what we have left. I mean, a large part of the United States is either no man's land or anarch, southern states, Sabbat. This is our piece of society. And a lot of people fought and died to take it in the first place. And we're not inclined to lay down and let it go without a good fight.
She'll nod. That makes sense. But there must come a time in which you must think, how many sacrifices are you going to need before it's decided that it's just best to find somewhere new? That is saying that if you aren't able to drive the spot out, which I have no doubt that you will be able to, but it could take years longer.
She nods. Yeah, good.
Going back to an earlier topic, what was your meeting with Kara going to be about today, or was it just strengthening this agreement you two had?
I don't know, he was pissed about something. Won't talk to me about it.
A shame. Do you know of possibly any other deals he might have mentioned to you that he was doing with the Camarilla, or was it solely through you?
Only me as far as I know. I'm guessing he was pissed off about the whole Fed's investigation on the uh, Bonehead Gang thing.
That's possible.
Or something else, I don't know. He didn't say, he just said come and meet him, and he didn't sound very happy.
I see. Well, Miss Ghost, is there anything else that you need this fine evening?
No, I'll leave you my number. She sort of takes out a piece of paper from her pocket and writes her number on it and slides it across.
Um, she'll take it and just kind of put it in one of the drawers of the desk before standing up and walking over, hobbling on the cane. And she'll say, "Well, it was a pleasure to meet you. If you need any assistance, please do let me know."
Have you had the pleasure of meeting the Baron yet, Mr. Walker?
Not yet. I have only recently gotten news of Di Medici's death. Since he died last night, I am currently busy taking over all his affairs, but as soon as I am able, I am planning on meeting with the Baron and the Sabbat.
Watch out for him. He's a real piece of work.
Oh, how so?
I'll let you find out for yourself.
Of
I'm sure you can handle it.
course.
She puts on her motorcycle helmet again and makes her way out.
Yeah. She'll open the door for you, and when you get out, you'll be escorted by an oddly slight woman. She's not too very big, but she's wearing a nice suit, and it's obvious that she has a few guns under her jacket because it's very close fitting, so you can see the outline, and she'll lightly lead you out.
You see Ghost tilt her head at the woman. Ghost has a particularly sort of swaggery walk. And she hops on a motorcycle, and you hear the engine rev and pull away.
Okay. Um, and with that, I think we can end the scene, unless there was anything else that you wanted to do.
No, that's all good.
Okay. Um, thank you, players for playing, watchers for watching, if there are any later on. This has been Chicago by Night.